Whether it's a baseball player on steroids, me taking an Italian test in high school, or basically everybody in The Great Gatsby, if you're not cheating, you're not trying. But everyone who was caught cheating in those scenarios is either dead or hated by society as a whole. And if you too would like to be ostracized by your friends and loved ones, do I have some Yu-Gi-Oh advice for you. For those of us introduced to Yu-Gi-Oh from the original 4Kids anime, there is no such thing as rules. Yu-Gi-Oh is a lawless land where you can stand atop a castle and threaten your opponent to forfeit, or else you'll force him to kill you. This isn't just a game, and as such, we need to win by any means necessary. I took those early seasons of Yu-Gi-Oh and the lessons they taught me to heart. So let me share with you what a man shunned by society has learned. Draw an extra card when your opponent isn't looking. First of all, there is no such thing as the heart of the cards. No matter what you may believe, the right card doesn't just magically appear in your hand when you need it. But it could! Pot of Greed may be endlessly on the ban list, but who says you even need it in your deck to draw more cards? Not me, that's for sure. In today's Yu-Gi-Oh, your opponent is going to be spending a solid 20 minutes focused on getting through their first turn that they won't even notice the extra bottomless trap hole you just slid into your hand. It's a card game. Of course there's going to be card tricks and sleight of hand. Occasionally your friend will chime in and say, "Hey, why do you have 8 cards in your hand when the duel hasn't even started yet?" In these situations you may panic, but there's no need to. Just respond with, "Why don't you have 8 cards in your hand?" Shuts them down every time. Or, avoid that altogether by not holding your cards one on top of another. Then they won't even know how many cards you have. Which also might be cheating, but nobody likes a tattletale. Gaslight your friends into making bad trades. Way back when, my buddy and I bought some structure decks. He got a savvy, sleek spellcaster deck filled with interesting effects. I got a deck with some dinosaurs that were wearing hockey pads. I made a bad choice when I purchased that deck, but my friend didn't need to know that. All he needed to know was that this dinosaur wearing hockey pads was the face of an incredibly powerful and hard-hitting deck. He knew he needed that Canadian Stegosaurus, and I knew I needed it extinct. And now, over 15 years later, those spellcasters are still mine, and those dinosaurs have gone the way of, well, the dinosaurs. They're dead. They're gone. Time Wizard and lying about card effects. Sometimes your cheating doesn't start out as cheating. It comes from genuine stupidity and ignorance. Or, in my case, it comes from being too dumb to realize that the Yu-Gi-Oh anime had less of a clue how the game was played than my grandmother. Time Wizard is not a good card. However, in the anime its effects seem rather impressive, as it can wipe out your opponent's entire field of monsters while chipping away at their life points, with no risk to the user. Except it's not even close to how Time Wizard works. But my friends didn't question it whenever I screamed, "Time Roulette Go!", flipped a coin, and killed their whole team. Eventually I realized how utterly wrong I was abusing this knockoff pocket watch, but I said nothing. Until I was caught. Then you hit them with the good old, "I misinterpreted the rules." Hiding monsters in trap and spell zone. Sure, these days there's pendulum summoning and loads of other ways to have monster cards in your spell and trap zone, but when you're using some more classic Yu-Gi-Oh decks like my crew does, there's never any reason for a monster to be over there. Unless, of course, you're cheating, which is why we're here today. Keep up. Yu-Gi-Oh is a mental game. When your opponent sees a face-down card in your spell and trap zone, they are anxious for what it could be hiding. They don't want to be smacked by mirror force and have their whole life's work wiped away. Even if the only thing hiding down there is a misplaced baby dragon. Which, if you're playing me, then there's probably a good chance there is no mirror force and that it is just, in fact, baby dragon. But you'll never find out because you'll be too scared to come at me. Sneaking cards from my graveyard. Recently I was in a duel where both of my magic cylinders were destroyed by card effects, which was extra BS because my opponent was running a Blue Eyes deck and I really wanted to humiliate him with that quick 3,000 life point loss. So after he destroyed my second cylinder, you better believe I spent my next turn waiting for the opportunity to slide that bad boy back into my hand and quickly back onto the field. This led to a question of, damn, how many magic cylinders do you even have in your deck? But his cries were drowned out by the sounds of my celebration. Follow these simple rules I've shared with you today, and you too will be known as the cheating rat of your Yu-Gi-Oh group. It's a title I wear with honor, and one that I know the likes of Weevil Underwood and Rex Raptor would be proud of.